It took a number of years of going through alcohol abuse and drug abuse and broken relationships to humble me even more to a point where I wanted to take my life. And I was ashamed. I couldn't stand looking in the mirror anymore. My life was ruled by paranoia and anxiety. I've been coming to your church for a little over a year now. I happened to come here because I was looking for a church that was open due to COVID protocols, and I reached out to two of my friends, Richard Hardman and Will Campice. They both said that they were coming here. I figured that was the Lord leading me to come to this church. So I came, and I really enjoyed the message, and I found that this church was welcoming in a very unpredictable time, and I appreciate that. So to tell you a little bit about my story, I grew up in Hagersville, and I come from a household of two very loving parents that did the best that they could. But at around 13 years old, there was a lot of dysfunction in the household, which continued on for another 3 years. Ended up in a broken home. 16, my parents separated. And during this time period, I became very angry. I had been going to a Catholic grade school, I went to a Catholic church, and I had known the Lord. And in that time period, I became very angry. And I judged him. And I became an atheist. And I lived that way for quite a number of years, always running away and avoiding my problems. I started using drugs and alcohol to numb the pain and the anxiety that I suffered from, but I never faced my problems. And this continued on for quite a number of years. At around 27 years old, I was living in Banff, Alberta, and at that time, figured myself an adventure and an outdoorsman. I love that kind of stuff. But at this time, I happened to be suffering from a bout of depression, and I found myself watching Passions of the Christ. Don't know why I was watching that movie, even to this day, but as I was watching it, there was a scene where the Roman soldiers were about to whip Christ. And just the way that they depicted the scene made these soldiers very nasty looking. And I said to myself, I could never do something like that to anyone. And I heard a voice say back to me, "You do that to me every day, Paul." It wasn't my voice. And I started going to church. I started believing from that point onwards. And I would like to say that I became a devout Christian right away, but the case is that's not what happened. I didn't deal with my problems, and I became a follower that believed that really Jesus served me, and I didn't serve him. And it took a number of years of going through alcohol abuse and drug abuse and broken relationships to humble me even more to a point where I wanted to take my life, and I was ashamed. I couldn't stand looking in the mirror anymore. My life was ruled by paranoia and anxiety. And about 4 years ago in November, I was gonna take my life. And in the confusion and the haze, somehow I reached out for help, which put me on a pathway of recovery. The Lord intervened in that night. I know he did. I can't say exactly how, but I know he put me on a path of healing and redemption. From that night, I ended up in an emergency mental ward, which put me on a path to end up coming back to Ontario and going to Teen Challenge in London, Ontario for a year-long recovery program. There I came to know the Lord, and in that time period, he actually managed to get me to start tearing down the walls of anger and resentment and pain and start to hear his word and his message. He started to heal my heart inside, and I'm grateful for it. I graduated from that program in January 2019, and I had a plan organized and put into place for my graduation and to actually come back into the working world. But the Lord had other ideas, and He brought me into a career in the mobility sector, working on wheelchairs, power wheelchairs, and stair lifts, helping to improve people's lives. Something I never imagined I would be part of, but here I am doing that today, and I'm grateful for it. So I have a good career now, and I have a life where I have peace inside, a peace that I've never known before. The majority of the anger that I've lived with for the majority of my life is gone. And the Lord did that. He's brought peace and healing to me, and He's managed to open up my heart to the idea of living a peaceful life without judgment. That's wrong. The Lord's opened up my heart to His word and His healing. And I know that's a work in progress. I know I've not been completely healed. I also know that it's a daily process in relationship with Him, and I'm happy to have that, which is something I never had until my previous life. I'm happy to be here at BCC. I'm happy for the life that I have. I'm very excited to say that I have over 4 years of sobriety, which is something I have never had since the day I picked up a bottle when I was 16 years old. I'm happy to have good Christian people in my life that help keep me strong and help me on my daily walk. In short, I'm grateful for the life that I have now. I am Paul Poirier, and I've been changed.